you, if you a little kid, don't watch this because I'm finna tell you a little bit too much information, but it's important. So listen. Nigga, what you mean you burning? What the fuck you mean? He texts me and he like, I tested positive for chlamydia. You need to go get tested. And I'm like, what the fuck you mean? Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I think I'm gonna start back doing the old intro. So today is new. I got a new story time for you. And if you ain't finna watch them, what you got better to do? Let me know. So y'all, my Wi-Fi been acting stupid. So I was like, you know what? Let me make a video. Cause I ain't getting my story time in a long time. And this one real personal. I ain't gonna lie. But I'm gonna tell y'all this story for educational purposes. So if you going through something like this, I want you to understand that it's okay. Okay? So this is a story time of the time I had chlamydia. So I'm not gonna tell a lot of details because I don't want to get a person away, or like I don't want to tell nobody else's business but my own. So I was messing with this dude or whatever. I'm not gonna tell you no background story of the dude because it's not your business. So if you know me for real, then you know who I'm talking about. If you don't, I'm sorry, boo. Basically one day. Actually, let me start from the beginning. Okay. So around this time, I could tell something was wrong. It wasn't like, you know, when you think of a STD, you think of like weird discharge or like your coochie itching. I don't know if I could say coochie on YouTube, but your little cootie pie, your little pocketbook, that's itching. That's what you think of, okay? You just think it's itching and discharge, but it's not like that at all. So this time I started to notice that my lower back was hurting a lot. And I started to realize that every time I was ovulating or every time I did the nasty, I was bleeding. And so it's not normal for you to bleed like all the time. Not all the time, but like it's not normal for you to bleed when you ovulate and like bleed. And it's not normal for you to bleed like you on your period after sex. That's not normal. You know I'm fat, bitch. I'm out of breath from talking. Hold on, let me get my drink. Ooh, y'all see my booty? Okay. So I need a Coke 2 liter. So one day before my nigga came over, I knew my stomach was hurting a little bit, like it was a little cramping. It was cramping to where I thought my period was finna come on. But my period wasn't due to the next week. So I'm like, it can't be my period. So why am I cramping? Kind of thing. And it was like hurting. Like you could feel it. And it was nights where my lower back would be hurting. That was really my only symptoms. Besides, you know, the cramps in my stomach and my back. And then bleeding after sex or bleeding when I'm ovulating. So one day my nigga came over. My stomach was hurting a little bit, but it wasn't, you know, it wasn't that bad to where I couldn't get jiggy with it. You feel me? I'm like, shit, my stomach hurt, but like, I really want the D today. So like, I'm gonna get it, whatever. So Now let me tell you, if you a little kid, don't watch this because I'm finna tell you a little bit too much information, but it's important. So listen. So he come over, whatever, and my stomach is still hurting, but I'm all right. Like, you know, it's not hurting to where I'm like, oh, but it's like, you know, when you just feel it's there kind of thing. And so we start doing it, whatever we doing it, and then I realized, like, you know, like when you normally get turned on, it get wet down there, right? But it wasn't doing that this time. So it was just rough and dry. Like it was not what's tea. Okay, so he just pumping to the point where I'm like, damn, like this nigga is tearing my insides out. Okay, and then the condom broke. I don't know if I can say that either. If you a kid, you can't watch this. I'm sorry, because I mean, this STDs now. If we talk about STD, you know I had to have sex to get it, okay? So, the condom broke, and so of course he put on another one. It was no blood at this point. It was just he was being so rough that the condom broke. No blood. Okay, so he put on another condom. We started doing it again. By the time he finished, of course he finished and he pull out and he like, oh shit, you bleeding. And I'm like, I am. Now mind you, this is not the first time that I had been bleeding after sex, because I had it long before and didn't know I don't know how long I had it before that, but this wasn't the first time that I bleeded after sex, so I wasn't looking at it as a big deal until I went to the bathroom. I went to the bathroom, and usually if he tell me I'm bleeding, I go to the bathroom and I check myself to see like what's going on. I go into the bathroom and I sit on the toilet, and blood is just gushing out. It's just falling out. So I'm like, okay, I knew my stomach was hurting. So maybe this is my period. Like, this is probably my period. That's why I was cramping. I'm like, dang, my period came a week early. It's never been that early before. So I get a tampon. I came in here and told him, and I was like, damn, babe, you fucked me so hard. My period came on, like, the dick was a bum. You know, trying to boost his head up and shit. So, you know, we chill for a minute, and then he leave, whatever. After that, I realized the tampon was irritating me. So, I go to the bathroom, and it's like overflowing. Like, it's a lot of blood. So, I put a pad on. I was like, okay, I'm on my period, whatever. Go to the bathroom next day, no more blood. None, not at all. Not bleeding nowhere. So I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So I called my mama. I'm like, mama, I don't know what's going on. I was bleeding a whole bunch yesterday, and I ain't bleeding no more. So my mom's like, oh, maybe it's from the sex. You know, sometimes you bleed when you have sex. That's normal. So I'm like, okay. I mean, maybe this not the first time this happened, but it's never been this much. You know, all the other times it may be like a little drop here and there, but it was never that. I'm talking about dripping. I was like, what the fuck is going on in my body? Like, what? But I didn't, mind you, I did not tell my nigga nothing. I didn't tell him nothing that was going on. I was just like, I just thought, you know, I was bleeding because the sex was rough. Because of course it was dry, so I thought maybe like he was tearing my insides for real. So I don't know what day this was, but I know it was on the weekend when this happened. So on the weekday, he texted me, and he's like, I'm going to the clinic. And I'm like, you going to the clinic for what? And he like, I feel some pain when I pee. I'm like, nigga, what the fuck? At this point, I'm not even thinking about me bleeding or nothing, because at this point, I'm thinking it was normal. My logic was I was bleeding because he was being rough. So I'm not thinking I have nothing at this point. It's not clicking in my head. So, I'm like, what you mean you burning when you pee? If I didn't say that, He told me he had pain when he was peeing. Then he said it was burning. So I'm like, what the fuck? Nigga, nigga, what you mean you burning? What the fuck you mean? What you mean? So he like, yeah, it's burning on my pee. I'm gonna go get checked out. I'm like, this shit not adding up. What the fuck this nigga mean? He burning. He burning. How he burning? I ain't burning. We just had sex. So how the fuck you burning? How you burning? So I'm just listening to what he gotta say. Like, oh, you feel anything else? At this point, I'm not thinking about my body at all. Cause I haven't felt nothing. No itching, no nothing. No discharge, nothing. It's been clear. Like, it's been like it's been my whole life. Like I didn't know. So at this point I'm getting suspicious. Like, okay, this could be a UTI, but niggas don't really get UTIs like that. If you don't know what that is, it's a urinary tract infection. I know this shit. Me and him know this shit. So I'm like, okay, niggas don't really get UTIs. So who else you been sleeping with? Because I ain't got nothing. I know I ain't got nothing. I ain't got a motherfucking thing. You know, I'm in my head. I'm like, bitch, I ain't got shit. Like, he trying to accuse me of giving him something, of making him burn. Because he was like, oh, I started feeling it after we had sex last weekend. So I'm like, after the condom broke. What the fuck? Nigga, what the fuck you trying to say? What you trying to say, nigga? Because I ain't give you a motherfucking thing. And so he gets to the clinic, whatever. I'm like, okay, keep me updated because I want to know what the fuck going on. I want to know. Of course, he said he didn't sleep with nobody. So I'm like, okay, it gotta be UTI then. Like, I mean, that's the only explanation. Whatever. So he get there and he like, oh, you should go get tested. They heard my symptoms and they're gonna treat me for chlamydia and gonorrhea. I'm like, what? Like, what? You trying to tell me I got chlamydia and gonorrhea? You got me fucked up. You got me fucked up. So he like, I don't know if I have it for sure. The results come back in a week. So in my head, I'm like, I'm not going to get tested because I know I don't have nothing. I've been living this. I know I don't have nothing. The last person I had sex with didn't tell me about nothing. So I know I ain't have nothing. So, not fast forward, but like the whole time we was waiting on results, we were trying to think of other things it could be besides the STD. Because at this point, I keep telling him, like, I don't feel anything. Of course, I felt the back pain and I knew that I was bleeding, you know, a couple times after we had sex, but I didn't know those were symptoms. But every time, you know, once we got closer to getting the results, I started Googling shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, what does bleeding after sex mean? What does, oh, no, I'd be like, oh, does chlamydia cause lower back pains? Shit like that. So this day, I'm in school, and this was the day that he get his results. So I'm on ice because I'm like, oh my God, like I really at this point I have not told anybody about this except for my best friends. So my mom don't know. Nobody knows besides me, him, and my best friends. He texts me and he like, I tested positive for chlamydia. You need to go get tested. And I'm like, what the fuck you mean? What you mean, nigga? What you mean? You tested positive for what? For who? No. They had to be the wrong motherfucking test, because I know you not telling me you got tested positive for chlamydia. I know you lying. I know you lying because I ain't got a motherfucking thing. I don't. I ain't got a motherfucking thing. So that whole day, I kid you not, the first person I texted was my mama. I sent her that screenshot. I said, "Mama, tell me this is not what I think he just said. Mama, tell me this is not what I think he just said." So, you know, my mom, she like, you know, you can only get that from having sex. So who he been fucking? And at this point, I'm not even gonna go into that because I really, honestly, I could have had it this whole time and didn't know. Well, I ain't got it no more, but I'm saying I could have had it that whole time and didn't know it. So I couldn't really blame him because I had never got tested before. So, and with my last partner, well, I ain't gonna say that either, but, well, yeah, at the time with my last partner, we never used no condoms, no nothing. So I was like, you know, it's a possibility that I could have had it and I just never caught it. You know what I'm saying? Not never caught it, but never knew I had it. And so this whole day I am just cussing him out because I'm like, bruh, if you fucking somebody, just tell me, because at this point you fucking with my health. So I need to know who the fuck gave you chlamydia, because I know I didn't give you a motherfucking thing. And he like, bruh, like, if I knew, if he was like, if I knew at the time that I was sleeping with somebody else, why would I tell you when I was burning? You get what I'm saying? That's something I would have hid, kind of thing. And so I'm like, yeah, that do kind of make sense. Like, if I know I'm cheating, then I start burning, I ain't gonna tell him. I mean, honestly, I understood that, but at the same time, I'm like, damn, so you was gonna be cheating and burning and not telling me? So you was just gonna let me have chlamydia and fucking peace? So then that kind of ticked me off a little bit. I was just finding every reason to cuss his ass the fuck out. So I'm like, okay, after school, I'm gonna get my friend. Ooh. After school, I'm gonna get my friend, take me to the clinic, whatever. So I go to the clinic and they tell me, they couldn't test me without proof that my partner had tested positive. So he didn't have the proof because they call him on the phone. Excuse me. And so I was like, oh, I don't have the proof. Is there any way I could just get tested? She was like, oh, you need to come back on Friday. So that weekend I went back and I got tested, and to get tested they took my blood and then I had to swab around my vagina. So I had to wait a week. I finally got the results, and the lady called and she was going down the list. She was like, oh, you tested negative for HIV, gonorrhea, syphilis, I don't know, all that shit. And she was like, but chlamydia did come up positive. I would just, man, let me tell you, this was like 9 o'clock in the morning. I was like, bitch, is you for real? Like, in my head. I ain't saying, I was like, okay. Cause I'm like, I don't have no symptoms. How the fuck do I not have chlamydia? I mean, how the fuck do I have chlamydia? So she like, when will you be able to come in for treatment? And so I told her that I would go when I got out of school next Wednesday or something like that. I don't know. And so she said, okay. And so I went and got my treatment. I took the pills. They gave me, I think it was either 3 or 4 pills you had to take. The medicine was called azithromycin. It's an antibiotic. And when I tell y'all, if you ever get chlamydia, go eat before you get treated. Because that medication had me about to throw up in my friend's car. It was so strong because, you know, that kind of medication, a lot of people take like one every day kind of thing. But I want the 1-day treatment, so I took them all at one time, which the nurse there, it's okay for you to do that, but it really upsets your stomach if you don't eat nothing. So I think that was the only downside of the treatment. Um, like I said, I didn't have any symptoms. So, you know, I took the medicine. She said no sex for a week. And so that was that. To get tested, I had paid $15, but the treatment was free. It was one of them like low income clinics for low income people, because I didn't want to use my insurance. Maybe, I don't know. I think I threw the paperwork away. But so now it's time for a little health lesson. Let me tell y'all something, okay? I know y'all think it's cute to not use condoms and stuff. I understand it's your boyfriend, but let me tell you, you honestly never know. I was that person that's like, no, I don't want to use no condom. That's my boo. That's my bae. Yeah. No, don't trust that. Strap up all times. All times. If he ain't gonna strap it up, don't do it. I promise you, because you do not want to end up with an STI, STD, nothing. Because just as easy as it was chlamydia. Sorry, my mom called. Just as easy as it was chlamydia, it could have been HIV. It could have been, I ain't gonna lie, I don't know what other STDs is permanent. But I just thank God that it was something that was curable. And so, honestly, I'm telling y'all do not want to go through that, because you feel dirty, you feel nasty, you feel like a hoe, you feel like a thot. And I'm telling you, don't think that it can't happen to you, because it can happen to anybody. Yes, when you think of chlamydia, when you think of people that get STDs, you think of like porn stars or people that sleep with thousands of people, and it could just, all it takes is one person, even if it's your boyfriend. So don't think that just because you're not sleeping around that you can't get it, because that's myth number one. Myth number two is you don't always get symptoms. You can have it. People have had chlamydia for months, for years, and they don't know until they get tested. So I'm telling you, yes, Google, when you type up chlamydia, Google show you all these pictures where it looks so nasty. Those are only the extreme cases. Because when I tell you, my vagina looked as normal as somebody that don't have nothing, which is why you need to wear a condom, because just like my vagina looked normal, his penis could look normal. Even bitch, I thought my nose was bleeding. I was like, what the fuck going on? Even though it'll show up in a man, they're not usually asymptomatic like females are, but you get what I'm saying. Just like I didn't show any symptoms, he could not show any symptoms. That's why I'm telling you, you need to wrap it up. I don't care what you do. You need to wrap it up. It's a must. It's a must. Now, look, you take what you want from this situation. Yeah, you probably gonna be looking at me like, she nasty, like she had chlamydia. Yeah, I did. But you know what? I took care of myself. I learned my mistake, and I learned my lesson. You do not want to end up in that situation. If you have ended up in that situation, if you are in that situation, do not feel that nasty. Don't feel embarrassed, because it happens to anybody. It can happen to everybody. Okay, I ain't gonna lie. When I heard that it was positive, I was so embarrassed, because I had to tell my friends the test results. I had to tell my mom the test results. And I had to tell my boyfriend test results. And so, at this point, we going back and forth like, no, you gave it to me. No, you gave it to me. No, you gave it to me. Because at this point, I had never got tested before, so I didn't know. So that's another thing. If you're having sex, you need to get tested. You need to know for a fact what you got and what you don't got. So if you in that situation like I was in, you can have a paper like, look, January 2nd, 2020, 2019, whatever. It said I ain't have a motherfucking thing. So I know you gave it to me, and I know you was cheating on me. You get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? So I'm telling y'all, don't be like me. I tell y'all these stories so y'all can learn from them, okay? One thing I learned is to wrap it up. If I don't do nothing else, I'm going to wrap it up. wrap it up. One thing I would change, I don't think, I don't think there's nothing I could change about the situation. It don't matter what, I guess I would have handled the situation better. I wouldn't have cussed him out so much. But, it is what it is. It is what it is. When you in the heat of the moment, you mad, you think your nigga cheating on you, that's your emotion. There's no way I could have known that I had it. And if he gave it to me, there's no way I could have known that he had it. So it was nothing I could change. But I just hope y'all learn from my mistake. I hope y'all understand that STDs, STIs, it's a serious thing. You know what I'm saying? If you go too long with having these things and you don't know it, you can become sterile. This is not nothing to play with. You have to take care of yourself at all times. Period. Yes, you may be embarrassed. You may be scared, but at the end of the day, if you're grown up to have sex, you're grown enough to be a woman about it, to be a man about it, whatever, and do what the fuck you gotta do to take care of it. And that's period. I hope y'all learned something from this story time. I hope y'all like this story time. If you have any questions about anything that I dealt with, if you're going through this, you can text me on Instagram, Snapchat, whatever. If you have any other comments, questions, concerns, you can leave it in the description box. In the comment section down below. I want you all to like, comment, and subscribe. Yeah, it's been real, y'all.